Kids asleep. Sharks awake. Trade Daddies on the mic. Let's work. Let's work. Rent your hand by daylight, grease on the sleeves. Nightfall, switch lanes, candles and degrees. Blue collar mornings, markets after dark. Teaching wealth in the shadows, lighting up the charts. From the shop to the screens, breaking cycles, no cap. Turn patience into profit, show the roadmap. Education first, yeah, the mission stay clean. Built on discipline, modern Canadian dream.
Daddy time, late night grind. Shots glow while the world unwinds. Trade Daddies, yeah, we break it down. From higher highs to support and bounce.
OG in the game, seen bubbles and pain. Hands wrapped tight, both gloves and gains. From the ring to the feeds, pressure don't shake. Market swings heavy, steady moves get made. W3BC built, yeah, the vision clear. Teach and entertain, make the lesson hit here. Punchlines land like a clean left hook. Market speak when a trader looks. After bedtime, headphones on, screens glow bright. Risk defined, patience tested every night. No hype trades, only structure and plans. Read the flow, understand supply and demand. Not promises made, just skills passed down. So the next generation builds solid ground. From dads to traders, lessons stay true. Knowledge is power, now pass it through.
Who runs the charge?
Trade Daddy,
Who breaks it down?
Trade Daddy.
Risk, reward, discipline.
Let's get it.
Who runs the charge?
Trade Daddy,
Who breaks it down?
Trade Daddy.
Risk, reward, discipline.
Let's get it.
Daddy time, late night grind. Real talk for the trading mind. Trade Daddies after dark. Read the market, play it smart.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get
Yo, welcome to another episode of Trade Daddies. We are back after we had a little week hiatus, but it was a much needed little break. Honestly, I kind of need a break.
It was, and it was your birthday, dude. It was right before your birthday.
It was definitely before my birthday. I took an extended weekend, went up north to the cottage, got Starlink, so I got internet up there. I was not thinking it was going to work because for years I tried the Starlink app, and you have to like point your camera to the sky, and it scans the sky to see like your obstructions. There's a lot of trees where my trailer is, and it told me bad area. You're gonna get so many disruptions. So I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. And I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I've seen some people with worse situations than me have good connection speed. So I put it there, and literally the satellite dish is facing a tree. It's unbelievable how this works. I got perfect speed. So that's awesome. So a little bit more comfort.
How's the connection?
It was like 100. Like I'm paying for like 100 megabytes per second download a month, and I get anywhere between 100 and 40 to 50. So it's perfect. Honestly, it's more than I need for up there. Yeah. I don't know how well it'll do a live stream. I do a Zoom call pretty well, but hey, you know what? To be able to just edit some videos, maybe be consistent on X to be able to post stuff because I don't have an internet connection otherwise, it helps. So a little bit more entertaining because even when you're up there, like it's nice. You're on the water, you're fishing, you're doing your thing. But when the sun goes down, so not really much to do. So it's kind of nice when the sun goes down instead of just going to bed. Like,
get on and start scrolling.
Yeah. You can doom scroll, in the woods, right? But how was your week, man? How you been, man?
Good, man. Just watching the market kind of play out. I don't want to say like we told you so, but I kind of feel like we told you so.
We did. Just saying. Like we've been here for weeks, just talking about the same thing. It's like, oh, these guys are doing it. These doomers over here. Doomers. Like, but hey. What is it that Carl always used to say to the moon? Exactly as predicted, or something like that.
Exactly as I predicted. Yeah. It's just been, it's been interesting. Doing a lot of watching the market, building some things in the background, working on some things, and then also I've been in that gold short. I think I've been in it like a month now, and I'm off 50% on it. You know, I put it at like 10x and just letting this thing go. I've got some let me see where I got some targets on gold going down to like definitely down to 4,400. We'll see if it goes down even lower than that. So this is going to be, you know, this month-long trade. Obviously, it's been the longest thing that I've ever been in as far as the trade goes. And you know, it's a good way for me to learn that capacity, because you know, once we get down to, and again, especially with like this indicator that I'm building, that I'm working on, it's you know, it's funny, dude. I started building this thing on the 5-minute. And then I noticed that like the 15-minute was looking a little bit sharper. And now, dude, this thing is like fucking wildly deadly on the 1 hour. And so I've kind of like zoomed my time frames out a little bit. And I don't know. It's just been really interesting watching this thing slide down. I almost feel like we are in that little, when you talk about like everything, I'm going back to Bitcoin right now, but you know, we talked about this for weeks where we were in this consolidation. What were we going to do? What were we going to pump? Or were we going to take that next leg back down? And yeah, here it is.
Absolutely. So here, let me share my screen because I'm also in my trade. I'm up 370.
Yes, let's go.
So this is the biggest trade percentage-wise. It's not a huge trade. I did a small position size. So I'm up like what, 40, 45 bucks. My target is 60K. So I will make $163, which is pretty damn good percentage-wise in my portfolio, right? I'm only trading with a $2,400 portfolio. But hey, 374%, the longest trade I've been in. The hope is that we get to my target before my funding fees kill me. But the funding fees are only like at $3.70. And like the actual trading fee was only like, I think like 50 cents. So like it's really peanuts because it's such a small position. Like I'm only using $12 of margin. So I've used $12 to make $45. So pretty good. But yeah, like the trend is down. We've talked about for weeks. We're gonna go through it. We'll go through some quick news updates. But before we do any of that, I got myself a Bacardi, because it's summertime, Piña Colada. You know.
Oh man.
So I don't know. I've never had this one before.
I got water tonight. Cheers.
Cheers. It's summertime, so we have summer drinks and water. Again, you're probably going to be fighting in Singapore, so if you are, you can't be drinking. So I will do the drinking for you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I'm scaling everything back here. I've had a few conversations with some people. I think I'm going to start getting ready for October. Sounds like that's going to be the next fight. And hopefully we'll get the call to be on that. It sounds like that's the conversation that we've been having. So let's start getting ready for October.
So when you knock him out, that will be the end of the bear market, because October should be where we hit the bottom. The cycle.
Wouldn't that be something like the knockout and then Bitcoin just rips? I'll eat pizza and then drink beer again and some whiskey. It'll be wonderful. Can you
knock him out with an uppercut so like the price just goes up, and then we'll just take that picture of the uppercut and we'll overlay it with the chart.
God candle up to the sky.
This bull market brought to you by J Chains.
Yeah. Knockout, boom, knocking out the market.
Absolutely.
I think, dude. Was this Bitcoin right here?
Yeah, I'll bring up the Bitcoin chart in just a sec. Well, I have everything up except for trading views. Not funny. I just want to shout out the chat. What's going on, Matthew Malik? I'm just shouting the arena chat out. RCB, Sam in SK, Mr. Lax, Sumi MG, and Jersey. What's going on? Welcome up to the chat. We have Blue Point and DC Burr on X here. Welcome everybody to the chat. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys follow us. If you and hit that like button. If you guys are on X, make sure you guys also follow us, and then make your way to YouTube and subscribe to us there. So thank you guys for joining in. It's nice to see the chat vibrant as ever. In this bear market, we got a lot of activity going on. Let's take a look at the big boy making big dumps. All right, so let's go to the weekly and we'll work our way back. Dude, this Alt R thing, I use it every day. You have like made my life so much easier, better on TradingView.
Isn't it just so great just to get that boom, center it?
Oh my God, so much better.
I'm a fan.
So Bitcoin was in a rising wedge. If you're a bull, you're gonna look at this and be like, hey man, it's a cup and handle. So you would look for a bounce here to the upside, to back to the top of this channel.
I see an inverse head and shoulders.
Potentially, yeah. So again, I'm not gonna say that it's over. I will work my way down. I did see a head and shoulders on the daily, so I do want to show you that because that is breaking down. But yeah, this is what the rising wedge. We made this wick down here at 59K. I don't see why we wouldn't retest it at some point. Is it June? Is it July? Again, I don't know. Again, we've had a green month. We're up. We started off May pretty strong. I don't like how many months in a row we can have green. Like it's a bear market. Come on, it's not a bull market.
Yeah.
So we could bounce here and go back to the top of channel, and we can continue consolidating. This is still a bearish pattern. Like rising wedges break to the downside 68% of the time, and even if we go right up to the tippy top here at 90K, you still got 59K as the target of the breakdown, which would be your double bottom and probably your cycle bottom, if not lower. Like that could just be one of the stops along the way to our cycle bottom, which we'll see in probably the end of the year in the fall.
Do you believe? I don't know. I don't know if we've talked about this, you and I. The whole Ben Cowan thesis about how we'll see the bottom sometime between June and December, most likely between October and December. Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Benjamin Cowan maxi. I watch his videos a lot. It makes the most sense to me. And it hasn't, and and it's not that I'm just like going off of what he's saying. It's like I'm the kind of person where I got to see it to believe it, and I haven't seen anything that proves me otherwise. Like, you know what I mean? If you have a thesis and you try to prove your thesis wrong, and if you have new information that proves your thesis wrong, you should pivot. But I've tried to poke holes in this idea that we're in a bear market and the 4-year cycle is still intact, and I don't see any evidence, other than like there's bullish news that like there's more adoption, but like I have to see it in the charts. Like the news has to translate to the trend, and right now the trend is showing that we're in a clear downtrend. And then you look at UST like tether dominance, and it's showing the same picture. I'm getting confluence all across the board here that we're continuously in the downtrend. We could come up in the short term, but long term still in a downtrend. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. We're seeing the breakdown. Again, when we lose 70,000, like 72K is the break of this rising wedge, that's when you'll really know, hey, this stuff's over. So let's move back. Let's move down to the 3-day, because the 3-day has been like my go-to chart for the past little while. Just a little bit more information. So you kind of see the little head and shoulders here. You see it's going to look much better on the daily. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and then that's your neckline. And we've already broken down below the neckline, and the target of the head and shoulders is 69,000. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now. The only thing is, do we get stopped? Do we just hit the bottom of the channel and then make a bounce, right? Like this would potentially be a falling wedge, right? So you can say this is a falling wedge, and you would look for it to bounce out of the falling wedge, and then whether either make its way back up to the top of the channel, or maybe we come up and stall out. Who knows? Like we could have a short-term bounce here, on the 3-day chart. Now, but I do want to show you guys the daily, because this is kind of the one that, and not to mention, just to rewind for a second, the stochastic RSI is already curling down on the weekly. So this is where I'm looking at us going down, and more confluence. Yo, Luca, what's going on? Welcome to the chat, my friend.
Yo, what is the RSI measure?
So right now the RSI is below the neutral line, but it's trending down, and we're at the 44.08. So we're coming to this moving average here. We're coming to touch it again at some point. So they're going to intersect at some point. Now, if the purple line goes below that yellow line, that usually indicates that we're going to have some more downside, right? Everything across. So, and that kind of lines up with what I'm seeing with the stochastics, and also the MACD is losing bullish momentum, right? So I have 3 indicators that are showing me the same thing on a bigger time frame, which is more likely to be accurate. And then like when I'll show you the daily now. Oops. What did I just do? Overstays. Oh, I just minimized it. Okay, daily. So the daily is where I'm seeing this head and shoulders a lot more clearer. So you see the shoulder, the head, the shoulder. This is a topping pattern, right?
Uh-huh.
And here we go. Textbook. There's your neckline. We broke down. Now we could bounce up to retest this neckline and then continue on down. So look for that. But I honestly think like this is gonna be the pattern that decides whether we're done, like the trend is done, because this pattern brings you to 69K for this head and shoulders. That will break that weekly rising wedge, and the trend, that's a trend change. So you have to respect the trend. The trend is your friend until the end, and I believe this may be the end of the trend. And this is kind of one of the topics of the of the show today is trend exhaustion. Right? We went up to 85K. We tried to come back. We went to 82K, and we just couldn't quite get there. And I don't know if you guys remember, many weeks back, we talked about we couldn't get above 75K. 75K was our resistance. And you can see on the daily here, we had this resistance here. We came up to 74, lost it. We went right back down. We went up, we went to 75, almost 76K, went right back down. And then we didn't finally break it until like the third time up here. And so that's your support level. Now it was resistance and now it's support. So once we start losing, we can't get above 75K. I think there's a lot more downside to come. Whether again, even if it's just the bottom of the channel of that weekly rising wedge, which is again 72K right now, you lose 72K, you're probably going to 69K. And I also want to show you guys here on the VPVR, there's a huge gap here. So price is like a magnet to these gaps. So you're right here. So I don't see why you don't get to at least 71K right here in this gap. So that's
and you got to think like at this point, like, what's the catalyst to save it? You know, you talked about, you know, exhaustion and all that stuff. Like the news is like couldn't be more bullish, but nothing seems to be able to pull it up. So it's like we don't have a catalyst that's worth a damn right now to take us back up. Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing's working.
And that's how you know you're in a bull market or a bear market, because you have good news, but it doesn't translate into price action. When you're in a bull market, you get some bullish news, boom, Bitcoin's up like 10%, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it, like, that shows you the behavior of a bear market. Again, the longer you're here, the more you're going to see this kind of stuff. And this is why, like, the volatility in crypto, when someone's been here around, the whole meme is like, yeah, this doesn't bother us. Or the guy, you know, the ones with I love the one with the nooses, first time where they're all standing by the nooses. Like that, it's true. Like it really is that way. And the more you're here, the more you'll be, like, I guess, desensitized to it, because you just, when you understand the cycle, it doesn't make you fearful anymore. You just know, okay, this is a good time to be in cash. This is a good time to rotate in. That's all investing is like understanding when things are overvalued or undervalued, and then you allocate your capital accordingly. But yeah, we'll see where the trend goes. Again, I'm still on the boat that we go down. We have a lot of year to go. Like we're in May. We're just about to go to June in another week. So, you know, we're not even halfway done the year. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you think? Like, as far as getting into, because I would like to get into so I'd like to get into a Bitcoin short. You know, we're already kind of in a dump. You never get into a pump, or you never get in while it's dumping or whatever. Do we wait until we touch the 21 and then we're, see which way it moves? Like, wait for it to correct itself at this point, right? Like, this is not the time to get it back into a short.
I think of it, there's a couple different ways you can think about it. You can either trade this head and shoulders. So what you would do is you get in now and you put your stop loss above the neckline, or you wait for a bounce to retest this neckline, and then you get in on the bounce, and you probably put your stop loss above the right shoulder, and then you would try and see if you can get the bearish retest of the neckline. So you can do that. For me, I'm gonna add more to that short when we break that weekly rising wedge. So when we start to break like 72K, like 73, 72K, I'm probably gonna look for a short entry there. Give it a lot of wiggle room. in like I'm gonna go cross, a lot of wiggle room for the stop loss. Because I don't know if we're gonna see 80K again. I don't think we're gonna see 80K again before we we go lower. I could be wrong, but that's my bet. I think when we went to 82 and we couldn't retake 85, I think that was it. That was your double top. So I think we're going to continue down into, like, again, the end of the month is always usually has a lot of volatility. We're going into a new month, so I don't see how we don't go down at some point. We could still have like a price pump in June. Like we can come down for the rest of May, come up in June, but really it's like bearish consolidation, like another bear flag kind of idea.
Yeah.
But,
well, and at some point, like we got to take the next leg, right? I think when we look at the course of the last several months, when we've taken our big dumps and then we have our big consolidation period, and then we take our next leg down, like that's what we're waiting for next. Like I hope to hit that. I hope to hit that short. I kind of feel like it's making its move right now, creeping. We get below 74,000 by the end of the show. It might be time to get into that short.
Yeah. So like this is the monthly chart here. Right? We had 2 green months. March and April were green, and then May is flipped, has flipped bearish, right? Like it's flipping red. So let's look at the previous bear market. Like this is kind of where I think we are. So if you look at the 2021 bear market, you came down and then you had a nice pump up, and then you had your next leg down. I personally think that we're here. Right? And does that not almost look identical? Like you had your double top, right? And then you have a big move down, and then consolidation up, and then you drop down. Like it looks almost exactly the same. Right? I don't make this up, guys. So like that's kind of where I think we are. I think a lot of people are thinking that we're at like a bottom. This is not how bottoms form, in my opinion. Like this is how bottoms form: double bottom, bullish, bullish divergence, and then you make some sort of pattern to the upside, which would be probably shoulder, head, shoulder, and slanted inverted head and shoulders. I would just say more of a double bottom, in my opinion.
Do that trick where you flip the chart.
Flip the chart upside down.
Yeah.
So this is the monthly. So yeah, so inverted head and shoulders here, right? So you have the let me remove all my drawings. So you have shoulder, head, and you're making the shoulder. All right. So if we want,
like we're gonna cruise through that volume node pretty fast, man, to find ourselves on the other side of it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Like this brings you to like 31K. Like
oh shit.
Which we honestly, I think it could touch there. Like, look, I didn't expect 16K last bear market. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin usually never goes under the previous high of the last cycle, and it did. So, like, anything can happen. It may be there, it might not be there for very long, but it can happen. And if you got cash on the side, like that's what you're hoping for. Like that's what you want. So this is the time to lock in. It's time to pay attention to the trend. I still think we have many more months to go before we hit a cycle bottom. So like you're not like in a super rush. So take your time to understand the trend. Take your time to educate yourself on the 4-year cycle, because it's still valid. And even if you don't believe the 4-year cycle is valid, still study it so you understand why it isn't valid. Like try to poke holes at your own personal thesis.
Speaking of education, I see shout out Crypto Boomer Lady in the building. What's up? Said, can you give recommendations on stop losses? Man, that is a pesky. Stop losses are pesky, man. I tell you what, I feel like it's just it's almost a surefire way to give some money back to the exchange. But it's a great way to protect yourself. Especially if you're looking for the market to go one way and it wants to go the opposite, it'll give you the opportunity not to get wrecked. But
absolutely, stop loss is just like it's really you being in control of what you're willing to lose. It allows you to continue playing the game without getting wiped out, because if you get wiped out, then you're so behind, right? Think about it. If you lose, you get liquidated, you got to make 100% back just to get back to break even. right? So stop losses are there to keep you from, so you can protect your capital, so you don't get wiped out. What I would recommend, you ask yourself when you get into a trade: is this a short-term scalp? Is this a long-term play? If you're playing something on on a higher time frame, you want to have a lot of wiggle room. You might have to risk a little bit more to get the bigger move.
What about if we did this? Like, there was for a while, like we were always talking about, here's the deal. And I think this is before we switched the model over to cross. When we were all on isolated and we all had liquidation points, the whole thing was, here's the deal. If you're going to get in at X point and it tells you your estimated liquidation point is this, just cancel the order and just put in your order at that, your limit order at that is your liquidation point, right? Maybe the idea is to do this with, your stop loss. It could be a good way to mitigate something and have another chance. Because Boomer Lady, what I feel like is that most people get into trades around the same time. It's the conditions, it's the look, it's the emotion. And so when you get into a particular trade, these algorithms know how much, room the majority of people have before liquidations start happening, right? And they'll take you pretty damn near close to that wherever the majority of the margin is and stuff. And so if you set your order a little bit lower and you give it that breathing room, it gives you that additional breathing room that you'll need. Plus, maybe you don't have to set a stop loss at that point because the market's just going to go right up from there.
Absolutely.
Because that's what happens, just like you said, you put in a stop loss and it'll just go right there, boom, sell you, and then rip up.
You can also use, again, I don't use it super often because I'm more of most of my trades day to day are just little daily scalps. But what you can do is you can use for longer term trend, you can use fibs. So Alt F on the chart will show you Fibonacci. You usually want to do a fib from where the impulse starts. So when the move first starts. So if I want to pull the fib from here when the first move started on this trend here, for example. So we'll go Alt F, I'll click here, I'll bring it up to the top. So wherever the top was. Okay. So now I would look for, if I'm looking for an entry point, there's certain places where price will drop to. So for example, we had an uptrend and now we started creating a downtrend. Okay. So what I would, we confirm that the trend is over. So for example, here, we lost the 200-day moving average on the daily. Okay. You would look for key places where price is likely to go or price is likely to bounce from. So a good idea would be I know the golden pocket, the 618 is usually a good idea. The 786 is usually a good idea. So you would look at something like that. And then those are good places to bounce. Mind you, we obviously continued a lot further. To catch this full trend, because I'm on the daily, I'd probably have to start where the whole move started here, the whole trend. So this would be the consolidation. This is the whole bull market, right? So I would start from when the move started. So probably we're here. Oops, Alt F, and then go right to the top. And then here we are. So if you're going from here, we are basically we lost the 786 and we're bouncing off it. So this could be a place where we bounce off it. If you want to get in now at 74K, I personally think we're still going down. But fibs are a good way to look for entries where price could go up to or where price can go down to.
Now, let me ask you a question. I don't use enough. I don't use the Fibonacci enough to know this, and hopefully you do. Would you be measuring it differently, say from December to the bottom that we saw in February, if that's the bottom? Would you be measuring it differently on a downtrend versus an uptrend?
Yeah. Again, I'm not a Fibonacci pro. Sometimes I'll just look for it to find where prices could bounce to. For example, here you go right here from the impulse here. So the impulse is here, Alt F, and then I would click on it to the top. Again, but we're in such a downtrend. We blew right past 786. So you can flip it upside down and try it that way and see where we can go to. But for example, here we go. We flip it upside down. Price is going up. If you're looking for it to bounce, for example, so the chart's upside down, it can come to the 786 or the golden pocket here, right? I don't use this super often. I use it a lot in the bull market versus the bear market. Because this can just go lower. Like I'm really just looking at key levels, like 200-day moving averages. That's honestly, you don't need to overcomplicate it. When you start losing 200-day moving averages on multiple time frames, that usually tells you that the shorts are more likely to pay. Just like that indicator that I made, like when you're above the 5-minute model, it shows the flash because you're likely to win the trade on when you're above the 200-day moving average. So if you want to keep it real simple, and this is what I recommend for everybody, is just look at the 200-day moving averages, right? You're on the 1 minute, you lost the 200-day moving average. You're likely going to continue down. And just respect the relationship between the 200-day moving average and price action with the smooth moving average, how it sticks, to that white line or the smooth moving average. Every time it gets far away from it, it comes back to it, right? So the 1 minute, we've lost it. We're well below the 200-day moving average on the 5 minute, and the 15 minute, again, well below it on the 15 minute. The 1 hour, this is where I started to get really bearish. Like, was it last week? Yeah, the 26th, we lost it here. The 4 hour, we lost the 200-day moving average, right? And you're just starting to lose it across all the time frames. Like we lost the 8 hour. I was watching this on the weekend. I'm like, oh, if we lose the 8 hour, they're gonna get really bearish, and we lost the 8 hour. So
do you think that'll come back up? Is that the kind of thing that you would see come back up and retest it and see a drop, or is it we've lost it like RIP?
Well, right now on the 8 hour, I'm not going to say like, oh my God, we so lost it, because the smooth moving average still hasn't crossed. Now, when this smooth moving average crosses the 200-day moving average, then I'm going to be more likely, because this could be like a bounce where price will do something like this. It'll come down and then come right back up, and you'll see that the smooth moving average just bounce off the 200-day moving average like that. That happens a lot, and it's like a fake out, right? Because people will think, oh shit, we lost it, get short in, and all of a sudden we just bounce and continue up, right? So that's a trap that market makers try to get you in. So be careful with that. Like, so respect. So now because I've been burned by that a bunch of times, I now wait to see, like, for example, if I'm in a long, sometimes what I'll do is I'll catch these moves and get into a long, and I'll wait to see if this bounces off. If it bounces off, my long's good.
Good to go.
If it crosses, I can cut it off, or I can get into the long when we have the bounce. So that's one thing I've been watching a lot. Crypto boom related. Thank you so much. Never used the fib. Yeah, I'm not a super big Fibonacci user. There's like a whole thing about it. It's literally a whole math thing. But I have used it in bull markets to find good entry spots, and it's pretty good, especially on short time frames. I like using it on smaller time frames more so than the bigger time frames. But yeah, so watch for that cross. So when we start to see the cross, like let's go down to the 4 hour, for example. See here, we had price the 21 come to the 200. Price was already below it, but when we had the cross, you had the huge move down, and then what happened is we couldn't get above it again. So we went down, we came back up, we basically got rejected by the 200-day moving average, came right back down. We came way far away from this 21-day moving average, right back above it. And again, lower high, and then we'll see where this goes to. We're probably going to bounce at some point here, but is it another lower high? So, and then that's your trend. That's how you would try to track trend, is this. You consecutively start losing moving averages and key levels, and then that tells you that you're going into a downtrend until the trend will change, and the 1 minute will take the 200-day moving average to the upside, then the 5 minute, then the 15 minute, then the 1 hour. You know what I mean? And then depending on how risky you want to be, you can wait for the 5 minute trade, or you can wait for the 15-minute cross or the 1 hour. The higher time frame is more likely to be successful. That means Bitcoin has momentum, because you can take the 5 minute 200-day moving average to the upside, the 15-minute, but then you get rejected by the 1 hour, and then it goes down and you lose the 15-minute, the 5 minute again, right? So that's how I look at trend is one moving average down time. Think about it as it's the same move. It's just a microscope for all the smaller time frames.
I like that.
Yeah, it's helped me simplify it.
Yeah, for sure. I've been, same kind of thing. I think as you. I've been really focused a lot on the 21 and the 200. That seems to really control a lot of what's going on. Plus, you guys have heard me talk about the ETF situation with what's going on. BlackRock, and that's something we can. I know we're going to talk about in a little bit. When you look at the flows, you look at what's the price been doing for the last several days, right? What's BlackRock been doing for the last several days? Got it. Okay. It makes sense.
And that'll lead us into here, Bitcoin dips below 76K on institutional sell-offs, right? They're selling some Bitcoin. What was that website? Was it CoinGlass that you found the
Yeah, CoinGlass. Yep.
All right, so I have CoinGlass here. How do you find it? What do you go under?
Yeah, just ETFs. I think you're right there. Bitcoin spot.
Let's see, volume, market, institutions, long,
Yeah,
short.
crypto ETFs. Hit the crypto ETFs.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So net inflows, all crypto. So let's look at Bitcoin.
And just look at like the last like 8 days straight, all red from IBIT.
Massive. So daily total net inflow minus $205.6 million.
Almost $250 million.
That's a lot of money.
Look at all that red though, dude. They are just selling off.
Yeah, the trend is over. It's like, and it's kind of like it's like a snowball effect. It's like some people start selling. It's like, people were bullish because we're going to 85, and then as people start losing hope, I think this trend is over. I'm gonna sell. Oh no, shit. Oh shit, he's selling. I gotta sell. He's selling. Oh, I gotta sell. And it just then that price just continues down, right? Like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Kind of like I don't know how familiar you are with the 2008 financial crisis and the Lehman Brothers, right? The Lehman Brothers just dumped on everybody, and they're like, oh my god, everyone, it led to a panic, and everybody had to sell, and the stock market just fucking crashed, right? It was I think it was what was the movie, The Big Short? I forgot.
The Big Short.
Was it The Big Short? There's a movie I watched that tracked the Lehman Brothers, and it was a really cool movie, and it showed the failure of the banking system. And it's the same thing in crypto, the same thing in 2021 when FTX collapsed, just cascading, delinquencies and forced liquidations. And here it's just normal price action. They're going to sell, they're going to wait for a lower price, get back in at a certain point. But again, we're going into the summer. Summer, even in a bull market, they call it the summer lull for a reason, because a lot of people go on vacation. There's a lot more long weekends in the summer, so there's going to just be disruptions in the economy and everything like that. And I still think we're just going to have a slow bleed for a couple months. Maybe August, September, we have a little bit of a pump, and then we dump down. But I don't know. I still think the 40s. I still think we can get into the 40s. I'm looking to start buying once we start like getting into the high 50s, 60K and lower. I'm looking to start allocating some capital and getting my position in.
Do you think we'll get there faster, or do you think it'll be something that it'll be like a long and more drawn out to get us to the bottom, or are we just gonna rip to the bottom and then start building from there for the rest of the year?
I kind of feel like the stock market's gonna dictate that. The S&P 500 is at all-time highs. That bubble's gonna pop. It can't go up forever. We need some downside for people to reinvest again, right? So I think the stock market is going to start to come down. I think probably even as we get closer to primaries, or maybe when we get to the not primaries, the midterm election, as we get closer to the midterms, maybe that's where it starts to peak out. After the midterms, it just starts to dump down, right? It's been extended for quite a bit. It's funny, I was doing some moon math today. I was in my car talking to Grok, and I'm just curious. I'm like, what was the top of the S&P 500 in 2022, And from the top of 2022 to the top of 2026, what was the percent return? So if you bought the top in 2022, I think it was like 4,500. It went to 7,500, so it was like 59%. And Bitcoin always outperforms the S&P 500 because it's more scarce and whatever, right? So I said, okay, what if Bitcoin does 59% from top to top, 126K, 59%? You're looking at 209,000 Bitcoin. So I don't see so I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't see a world where if we outperform like 220, 250, 240, maybe even higher, like I don't see a world where 200K Bitcoin is not in play.
Did you see what Kathy Wood said? Like in the next 5 years, I think she said like 700 to like 1.25 million.
Yeah, they're always wrong. she's just got
I just feel like at some point, like the nuclear arms race for this stuff is going to take off. Like you got obviously, and I would love to see the statistics now. After all this little shakeup, who's sitting on what, because I thought that was going to be more of the challenge was, oh, you've got strategy with this much, you got BlackRock with this much, who's going to be the institutional leader, who's going to try to, get into the race. And then all of a sudden countries are going to be like, holy shit, no, we got to participate in this. And then all of a sudden Bitcoin was going to be 700,000 or 1.2 million, whatever it was. But I don't know, with this big sell-off, man, I feel like BlackRock's probably out the game now.
I think you're right. I think we're going to have this like parabolic move and it's going to be an explosion, but I don't think the price is going to get to the point that people are I think everyone's going to be wrong. I think I'm going to be wrong. I think everyone's going to be wrong. It's not going to be whatever, like who's going to predict it perfectly? Like maybe one person will be lucky to predict it, but they'll get close. I'm more conservative just because I've been in this for so many years and I've been caught up in the hype of price is going to go to this price and it never really does. It would be nice. Like I'm going to prepare for the case that it could go higher than I think. So like even last bull run, I have some Bitcoin that I'm round tripping. I don't care. So just in case, I don't know, but at least I have some if I don't feel left out, right? That
Right.
if it does make a new all-time high in 2026, like if I'm wrong, fine, I'll be wrong. Like investing is not about being right all the time. Investing is about not just continuing to play the game as long as you can and not getting wiped out. And then eventually you're going to have more money than you started with, right? Like that's what investing is. It's literally, fucking around and finding out. You fail, you do good, you get a little bit better, you do it again, you get a little bit better, you do it again. Like that's all it is. You don't have to be perfect. But yeah, it's going to be at least 200K. Like at least, like I don't see a world where it isn't. So I hope we can get it for 40 something thousand.
Dude, I love what you said before, like 30 something thousand, dude. That's even better.
Yeah, like hey, anything could happen. We don't know because what the catalyst could be. Does oil go to $200? Do we have escalation? Does this not work out with Iran and US? Like we don't know what's going to happen. Mind you, it's kind of looking like we're having some de-escalation. Again, we still have like Russia, Ukraine's going on. Like, does something come up with that? Like, there's a lot of turmoil and discourse in the world and uncertainty. I know here in Canada, like the economy is just not in a great place. Our real estate market is taking a beating. I believe it's either June or July. There's like a couple million mortgage renewals due. Because we don't have 30-year mortgages, we have to refinance. The majority is every 5 years. You renew your mortgage every 5 years, but the problem is you renew at whatever the rate is. So the rates are higher now because this is the last batch of people in 2026 renewing at a higher rate because they got the low rate during COVID or shortly after. So like my mortgage is due too. Like it's going to be. Like I'm going at 1.99%, and I think the average rate right now is like 4.5. So it's quite a jump, right? So a lot of people there's going to be a lot more selling of real estate, which will cause the market to go down even more because there's so much supply already and there's just not enough buyers. And or people are just going to have to refinance at higher rates. So that means more money going towards mortgage than anything else, no discretionary income, therefore no spending in the economy, and the economy slows down even more, right? So I still think I don't know if we're gonna have a full blown recession, but I still think 2026 will be a down year all in all. Again, short term volatility can happen, but that again, everything in my eyes is leading towards um, a down year for 2026, and we'll see where this again. We'll see where the S&P tops out. Like, do we have a top? Is the AI thing a real? Is it a bubble? Is it a real thing? Because if it keeps going up, like maybe it just keeps going up because AI is just the build out just keeps happening, right? Like, who knows?
Well, I know we're all here for the ride. It's really interesting. I feel like every asset class is going to need we saw metals go, and we'll see some other things go. I think everybody's going to need it their respective bull run while we start to reset. I hope that the whole like the retail. I don't know. I just like when we get this like the Clarity Act passed, and then banks and everybody's offering crypto and all this stuff. I just hope that people don't get wrecked. It's like,
Oh, you mean with like this? Yeah, I don't
well,
think
like just like when the whole like the next retail push, right? Because I feel like the last several retail pushes have pushed a lot of people out, and then people will still say like fuck crypto, like, oh, I know somebody, my cousin got scammed, or my cousin lost all his money, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like at some point, like,
this is the problem. It's the dilemma that we have here in cryptos because you can be your own bank and take charge of your own personal finances, but that also means you take on all the risk, and your personal security has to be top notch. Like, you have to really be diligent to protect your capital, or just be in a centralized exchange and then be okay with the counterparty risk of whatever exchange you're choosing to use, right? um this is where my idea, we've talked about this before, like on the Web3 Breakfast show for years. Mass adoption is different strokes for different folks. Like, everyone's going to use, there should be platforms for everybody, whether it's centralized, uh based on whatever your risk. The only thing I want is I want everybody to understand their risk and not be doing something unknowingly of the risk. So,
right.
I'm in a crypto.com, for example, and I understand that it's like a bank. My assets are there, but they're custodying it, and my risk is crypto.com staying solvent or managing my assets well, right? If you understand that and you're okay with the risk and you want to take it, that's fine. Do it. Um, when you are self-custodying your own crypto, phishing scams, you got to be aware of all that kind of stuff. You got to have your security locked down and make sure you're diligent to be able to keep that up to date, change your passwords when you need to, and all that kind of stuff like that. It's personal finance. You got to take charge. So certain people want to do that. Some people I don't care. I would argue that probably most people are so not used to handling their own money that they're
Mhm.
fine with just spending it. Just so used to it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people just do more of the same. And
Well, I
in
mean,
my
I know people that are in crypto that they understand every aspect of self custody and why it's important, but would just rather have the centralized entity like keep custody.
Yeah, and you know what? I do the same thing for some things. I keep a portion on, for example, I use not well simple. I use ShakePay. My
Yeah.
on and off ramp is ShakePay. So it goes on there, and when I sell my crypto, it goes on there. But I move portion to the majority of my portion stays in cold storage and doesn't move until I'm ready to sell or buy. And that's it. Like, so it's again, it's up to you. I like personal freedom, and I also think again, North America, we're a little bit more spoiled, but like, until something really bad happens to you, your values change. Like, we had the trucker rally, and Canada froze people's bank accounts and stuff like that. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I don't want that to ever happen. I don't want anybody to be able to lock my accounts. So I choose self custody. I like self custody. I value privacy. I value security, and that's the way I do it. Like, I don't want to have anything on the internet. I tried. There's so many things trying to scam you out there. That for me, like, I'm not smart enough to know what if everything's a scam or not. So I eliminate all the problems of keeping cold storage to keep it as simple as possible, right? Because I feel like if I'm dabbling in all these different wallets, I'll probably get burned at some point.
Yep.
Where if I keep it as simple as possible and just keep it in cold storage and just move it when I need to, I'm less likely to make an error. But then also don't have one single point of failure. Like have crypto in multiple spots. Like don't put your eggs in all in one basket, right? But
Do
yeah,
you like
so
multi-sigs? Do you do anything with multi-sig, or do you just do like cold storage with?
I don't have a multi-sig. I to be honest, I want to learn more about that because I do want to do something like that for my wife in case something ever happens to me. That she has it, and I have a trusted party, maybe a lawyer or someone that has that has the other part of it. So I would love to do something like that. I do want to learn more about that. I think some of the cold storage wallets that I'm using already have that functionality, but I haven't used it yet. So that's definitely on the list of things to learn about. But yeah, definitely multi-sig is the way to go, especially because I thought about this when we went to Vegas for the Bitcoin conference. I was like, fuck, like, if me and my wife were both on the plane. So I'm like, well, if something happens to both of us, like my mom doesn't know how to fucking use crypto. like I
That's
have,
it.
like how am I gonna who am I gonna give this responsibility to disperse my assets if me and my wife are gone, and I'm the only one in my family other than my wife that knows anything about crypto,
Right.
on any level. So it's a tough thing, and it's not something you just can put in your will, right? So I almost thought about making a video, like a content video, like here you go, here's a USB, just watch me when it's done, and just teach people this is how you use crypto, this is how you get all the assets.
Dude, wouldn't that? It's so funny if you're like, all right, here, look, you just inherited all this money, but in order for you to do it, you got to take my course. You got to learn all about crypto.
Subscribe to my channel. Oh my god, yeah. So that's a very weird dilemma in crypto, especially if you're somebody like me that doesn't have anybody in their family that uses it. And most likely that's the case because crypto, you go talk to an average person about crypto on the street, and they probably heard about it or still think it's a scam for criminals, or they don't know about it. So it's hey, if that's not a caveat to we're still early,
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
I think like the majority of the opinion is, like people have heard of Bitcoin, and they probably know some form of the meme coin, right? Whether it's Doge because of Elon, right?
Yep.
And then as far as NFTs go, they know about the monkeys. That's it.
I was when I was mining Ethereum, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace and buying some parts for computers to be able to build my rigs. And so I was buying a bunch of RAM from one guy who was selling it out of storage unit. He's like, "What do you need all this for?" I said, "Oh, I'm building crypto mining rigs." And the first thing he said, "Oh, you know about Dogecoin?"
Yeah.
Yes, I do. But that's what it's exactly what you said. That's usually the first thing that comes to mind, right? Because I think a lot of people feel Bitcoin's just so expensive, and I've had talks with people because it's that mentality. It's like I can't own one, I can't afford just one. This the idea of just breaking it down to 0.00001. People need to own a whole thing, right? So that's
You gotta just diamond
it's an
hand
education
it
gap.
and DCA and just buy. Just buy all the way up.
Yeah, it's honestly it's a cool little journey. Like you put a little bit in, and a year or two from now, you see where you started, see where it's at, you see the portfolio grow. That's what really interests me about finance, is just putting your energy to work, because that's what money is. Money is the storage of your time and energy. You got to spend time and energy to create money, to get paid in money, and you got to put it in the best vessel to be able to grow. And for me, that's crypto. That's Bitcoin and crypto is your fastest horse in the race. Again, I'm still going to be dabbling in traditional stuff. It's honestly, it's so hard for me to get into traditional stuff because I'm like, I know I'm buying something that's not going to do as good as Bitcoin. And it's like, oh, I want max performance, but then I'm like, okay, I gotta be less risky. You know what I mean? So it's a weird internal struggle because I know it's not going to do as good no matter what I buy.
I'm like I'm like you. Chainlink and Bitcoin are like the two that really I'm interested in DCAing right now.
Yeah. Somebody on Arena PD saying 108 Bitcoin burn recently worth 8.1 million. Is that good for the market? Of course. I did see that. It was like an OG or something like that.
Yeah, they were like a 15-year-old wallet or something. Like,
Yeah, it was one of the Satoshi era wallets that burned 108 Bitcoin. Hey, any Bitcoin off supply is more scarce.
can you just send it to me though? Can you just send it to me versus a burn wallet, please? Please.
It'd be really cool if you can like program something to send it to like everybody. Like send something to every Bitcoin holder.
Like you
Disperse
just
it
everybody
across
gets
the
like a
whole network,
Satoshi.
right? Like it'd be Bitcoin airdrop. Let's go. Hey, the faucets, bring the faucets back. That was fun.
Speaking of, did you hear about this? There's another thing going on. This was a new one. I'm sure we could pull the article up, but there was someone had gone through and they were, I think, filed this in New York, New York or California, like the Lost Bitcoin Act or whatever, where like if your Bitcoin's been sitting for so long, they're gonna try to take it on behalf of like some inactive thing. It's crazy.
Oh, I think there's a Nice Hash was a mining company, like you can like mine from them. I think they were doing that with old like if you don't like you log into your wallet or use it after a certain amount of time, they take it. I got an email for that because I was mining with them for a little bit and I had some like peanuts, like a couple cents, but I was getting emails like we're gonna take it if you don't like log in and make show that your account's active. I'm like, bro, take my pennies.
Have them.
Yeah,
Take my pennies.
So
Series surge. Okay.
you
107 dormant Bitcoin. Yeah, that's crazy.
You can't get it free. You need to work hard for. Yeah, you definitely need to work hard for your Bitcoin. What do you say, guys? So yeah, I'm just reading the comments from Arena. Yeah, PD is it good for the market? Yes. Is it going to translate into price action directly right away? No. Because again, you just saw so many outflows from the ETFs, so that just means there's more supply on the market. What's going to happen, and this happens in every market, guys, every stock, it happens. Eventually, price will go down, and it'll hit a point where more people believe that this asset is undervalued than overvalued, and you'll get more buyers than sellers, which will lead to a new trend, which would be the bull market. That is the mechanism of how markets work. This can take months to play out before we hit a cycle bottom. And you may have short-term volatility here and there because people are trading all the time. But all in all, I don't believe that we're at a cycle bottom because I don't believe that more people think Bitcoin is going to go up. I believe you're seeing the trend play to the downside because I believe more people believe that the bottom has not been in. So I believe we'll get to a point that more people will buy it, whether it's 50K, 60K. I don't know where the cycle bottom is. You'll see it in the charts because there are key levels that you'll start to get above that will lead to a new trend. And for me, it's the daily 200-day moving average. That's a big one to get above. And you'll start to see that, and then it'll be the weekly, and then so on and so forth. So that's where I'm at. I think we're going to come back and tag. We've talked about this before. I think we come back and tag that weekly 200-day moving average again, which I believe was 59K at the time. It's probably a little higher now. But yeah, the weekly 200-day moving average is 61K. So 61K could be the bottom. Like that could very well be the case. Like double bottom. If you have a bullish divergence, so you'll probably do something like this: bottom, bullish divergence, and you'll see, RSI move down while price action moves up, or something like that will play out. You make a bottoming pattern, and that could be it. That's possible. I would believe that could be possible because of all the bullish news that we just discussed. The politicized.
Where do you have your bottom at? What month?
I'm still leaning towards fall. September, October, November. One of those 3 months.
Ben Cowan thing. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still there just because I haven't seen anything to prove otherwise. It's usually about a year from top to bottom. Um, the bear market was about, I think the bull market was about 1,000 something days, which is usually the case. Let me see. I think it was like 1,056 days or something like that. Oh, I think the bull market started here. Hold on. So yeah, 770 days. Do I have it wrong? What year is this? 2022. Yeah, 2022. There we go. I missed the whole section here. Yeah, 1,100 days, depending if we go to October, then yeah, 1,029 days, right? Same idea. I don't know if this chart goes back this far. This is the perp chart. This doesn't go back. I have to go to the other Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin, here you go.
Nice. I have one too. I have my perp chart that I use that I trade with, and then I have the Bitstamp one that I can go all the way back and get the historical stuff.
Yeah, this is when you want to go for the long-term trends, is when you want to use a chart like this. I don't know why the perp charts will go back for that far. That's so weird.
It's I think it's when the exchange launched that particular pair.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So this would be, when did the bull
Mike Lowry in the building. What's up, Mike?
Oh, I guess
what's up, Bits of Wealth? What's up, fam?
Yeah, see, 1,015 days from bottom to top. So that's I haven't seen anything other. So if we do the same idea, you're looking at what, 1,000 something days. So hold on. Top to bottom would be a year, so 300 something days. Just go 364 days. That's October 19th. Right? So if
that's like right in line with what we've been talking about.
So we'll see something like this, price coming down, and then you get to that October 19th date right here, and see, that's kind of where I think we are. You're in that bearish, and it's just starting to roll over now, and you might have a leg down, and then you'll see that. Do we lose that weekly 200-day moving average? And you see here the bear market, you lose that for quite a bit, couple months. And that's where you make a bottoming pattern. Here was an inverted head and shoulders. This is not a bottoming pattern in my opinion. Not one that I've seen before. But again, inverted, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, and then pump to the upside, right? And then, double top. You had, price like this, double top, with RSI moving down. That's a bearish divergence, right? So I expect to see a bearish divergence or bullish divergence when we hit a bottom. Bits of Wealth, what's going on, brother? Mike Lowry, what's up? Looking good, bro. You guys can fight over who I'm talking about. He's
talking about me, Mike. He's talking about me.
Absolutely. Yo, welcome into the stream. Bits, I'm curious, where do you think the bottom is? I know you do a lot of charting yourself. I know you do a lot of analysis yourself. I'm curious, where do you think the bottom is, and when do you think it's going to happen? Do you still believe the 4-year cycle is intact, or do you not care about the 4-year cycle and you're just like trading the market as it goes? While we do that, I want to talk about the Ondo Finance founder passed away. I know you've met him. I know you've been really big in the Ondo space, going to the Ondo summits. I believe in New York, right?
Yep.
And crazy news.
That was some tough news to wake up to. Had a good chance to. I've met Nate a few times over the last couple of years, and he was a great guy, man. Brilliant mind. Every time I ever chatted with him, he was very kind and gracious with his time, and we'd sit there and talk for several minutes. And he's a busy guy. It was off the sun with him, but definitely the industry took a big hit. He pioneered a lot of what tokenization is going to be doing with capital markets and stuff. And so,
that's wild, man.
He was young, dude, like 32.
Oh my God, that's what's crazy. It was like, because it was a sudden passing, so that's crazy. I prayers with the family and all that, but it's I've always wondered when it comes to altcoins, because I look at altcoins like kind of like a company. And I always thought to myself, what happens if like Vitalik, something happened to Vitalik? Does ETH, what happens to ETH? Does ETH tumble? Is that going to affect price? What happens with, for example, Cardano, or like if something ever happened to Charles Hoskinson, or if he left, like, is that going to affect price?
I could see him losing. I could see him leaving Cardano, saying, "You know what? Hell with you."
Yeah, like look at Zcash when was it one of the lead devs or something like that?
Oh,
The
yeah,
teams,
like the devs walked away or whatever.
yeah, and then you had a huge price dump, right? Like, so that's what, again, we'll see if you only, time will tell what happens with Ondo. But he was the CEO, he wasn't the founder of Ondo, right?
Yeah, he was.
He was the founder. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's a good question. This is the thing about why Bitcoin is nobody controlling it, right? There's no founder, there's nothing like that. Like, does somebody else just step in, or
So
do they need?
So Ian, this guy Ian has been the acting CEO for, I feel like, almost a year. And to be honest with you, like, I was wondering if something was up. They said that he was sick, so this year Nate didn't make the summit. And Ian was the keynote and kind of just kicked the whole thing off and MC'd. Well, they had one of their other guys do the MC stuff, but no, but Ian DeBode is his name, and he's been the president, but now he's I think the acting CEO as well now. So he's in good. Ondo's in good hands, man. Because he's been running the ship for a while, pretty much.
And that's how it is. I always wondered if you lose direction. Again, Ondo for me is way more like a corporate like business, in my opinion, than like Ethereum or Cardano. So it's just because things like that, those guys have been the head, like the face of Ethereum's been, or Vitalik's been the face of Ethereum for forever, right?
Forever.
And same with Cardano. So like, what happens to if they is it better? Does the price go up? Maybe
it's interesting. Like, does the price go? I feel like, because like it's institutional like that, right? Like Ethereum is made it to the next level, like that would probably cause the price to go up if something happened to Vitalik. Whereas you see like unfortunately today Ondo was down like 5%. It's got to do what the market's got to do. There was no rallying support like, oh, we're gonna pump the price for the guy or whatever. But I mean,
again, 5% down, most likely because Bitcoin was dumping today, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that seems to be the theme of the story. And that, I mean, maybe it's not 5% now, but at some point today when I was looking at it, a lot of things were down. It's a red candle day. We looked at the ETF thing. Well, it'll be another one of those outflow days.
Yeah, definitely. So Bits is saying 48 to 52K is the area I'm watching. I'm with you there. I'm looking as soon as we get to 59K and lower, I'm going to start, laddering my position in. 32K is also in the cards, bro. I hope.
Could you imagine? I know some people get like so sad and scared when they hear that, but like I'm doing like chomping at the bit. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me that Bitcoin for 32,000.
Hey, the money is really made from the bear market lows to the highs. That's where you get the big hundreds of percents returns in crypto. Because, like, again, if you're just going top to top, like you're only getting maybe 100, 200%, maybe less than that. The diminishing returns is definitely a thing when you're talking about from top to top, right? Like we didn't even get a 2x from previous top to I think 100 and we went 69K, so you need like 130 something K to get to get more than a 2x. So we went to 126, so we were even I think it was like 1.7 1.8x, and it may be less next time around, but the numbers are bigger. So
there was I need to go back and do this series, because that was something that I was looking at doing, was like, let's take a look at, say Solana, for example. Like, all right, let's take a look at the the scam wick that we saw. Where do we see this thing potentially going down to, right? So like with Solana, for example, in February we saw the scam wick down to $67. Like, okay, like that's clearly going to break that. Like, we are going to be back to $67 because if we're in a bear market and like we're going to be in a bear market for the rest of the year, like we're clearly going to visit that. But I've got some other targets at like $46 and then like $33, $34, like that range right there.
That's so funny. I brought up my Solana chart and I had a rising wedge already marked here.
Nice.
So 49K.
Yeah. So like I totally see this thing going. You said we're at 39K is where you have that?
I don't know why I said 39K. Big Solana is definitely not that high. 47K or 40, I keep saying 47K. $47.
$47. Okay. So use that as the example, right? Like, okay, everybody believes, and not everybody, but you think at the peak of the next bull run, like Solana's got the opportunity to be an $800 coin. Okay, so if you can get it at $30, $40, whatever it is, and it rips up to $800, like what is that XK? There's that 10x that you wanted, or whatever people were trying to look for,
Yeah, like my basket of like altcoins, if I'm going to like obviously gonna have my Bitcoin position, that's gonna be my biggest position. But I'm like my altcoin position is gonna be Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Chainlink, all the infrastructure plays, all the ones that have all the stablecoin networks. Like it's the payment infrastructure of the world, right? Like if we're all going to move to digital finance and stablecoins may be the new way we transact online. That's money. It's our medium of exchange, right? Like Bitcoin in my eyes is still a store of wealth. It's again, I saw something today. If you're under 40, Bitcoin is your gold. And it's true. Like Bitcoin is the new gold. But what if Sol pulls an ETH move for the next 5 years and just goes sideways while breaking highs? Yeah, that's the risk you take. The market owes you nothing.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, okay, so that's a great point, right? Like, and the market does owe you nothing, and you have to think. And like, okay, so that was just like an example, right? And so the other side of that is, okay, look, let's be realistic about Solana. Like Solana was the meme coin engine. The meme coin engine is toast. What does Solana have? Like they're gonna have to pivot into something else because the meme coin game is done. Are they getting into they're getting into RWAs just like everybody else is? Are they getting into AI and all sorts of like what are they going to do to save that ecosystem? Because the only thing keeping it afloat was at one point VCs frog the ecosystem and like shutting down the network so they could force feed transactions through, and then it became the meme coin ecosystem. And what the fuck is it going to be now?
Yeah, I feel like the narrative right now is like perp dexes, gambling stuff, like poly market stuff, like so I don't. Does that translate into the next bull run, or is it just like a stepping stone to bigger things? I know what Avalanche has been doing is kind of pivoting more towards the like institutional side. So maybe Solana starts to do something like that. Maybe they start to pivot, take themselves more seriously. I don't. It's interesting because I feel like their culture, because the kind of people they got in through Pumped Up Fun and all that, they're still around. Like I don't know, maybe they change it around, but maybe they start leaning towards more institutions. Like, hey, we got just like you're seeing at the crypto conference, everyone's wearing suits now. Like it's a different vibe, because the big boys are here to play, and you gotta kind of play the game. You gotta, what do they call? Swim with the whales.
Swim with the whales. Swim with them. Yeah, dude. Like I applied for a job at Chainlink today. I sent in my resume. Talked to my guy that I have over there. Like that's the thing. Like join some of these like. Well, you said infrastructure plays. Like I feel like that's the move. Like that is the biggest growth opportunity over the next several years is who's actually laying foundations. And like you guys have heard me say, like, and I think Chainlink is probably just an absolute slam dunk because everything, literally everything that gets tokenized is going to need a price feed. Everything. And they've got the CCIP, which is the cross chain stuff. The interoperability protocol, and I don't know. To me, that's like and I always say this: HBAR could be one of the most criminally undervalued projects in crypto too.
Yeah. Anything, in my opinion, when it comes to next bull cycle, I don't care about anything that has nothing. Like it's got to have use case. It's got to be.
You got to be solving something for the financial system.
Yeah, if it's not useful and it's just speculation, I'm not interested. So Bits of Wealth says, I think if we saw an OG Dino Coin season, it would catch people outside. Yo, Ethereum Classic to the moon. Let's go.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin Diamond, dude. Bitcoin Platinum. Bitcoin.
I'm gonna turn my freaking Ethereum Classic miner back on. Let's go.
The Raven Coin. Let's go.
Raven Coin. Let's fucking go.
Oyster Protocol. Omis Go. Come on now.
Dude, Ravencoin destroyed so many of my graphic cards because that algorithm puts so much load and like so much. My basement was the Caribbean. It was that hot. I literally have a picture somewhere where it shows like my mining room and the temperature gauge. It was like almost 30 degrees Celsius would be like, I don't know, like freaking 90. it was hot as hell.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was honestly all I needed was a fake sun. I could have suntan down there. Homemade sauna.
Put a tiki bar up in there. Like, welcome.
Hey, I got the pina colada.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. So I think we got we can wrap this up here. I think we all know where this is going, guys. To the downside, it's nice to see everybody back. We had a great show. We got like over 100 views across the board. Arena with 38 people. That's a record for us. Shout out to Matthew Malik for bringing his peeps in here. But guys, thank you so much for coming on by. We know we're going down. Week by week, we'll track it. We'll be here every week, and we'll track it on the way down. Hopefully, we help you guys find a great entry point for Bitcoin, and maybe we catch that nice pivot to the upside and that legendary long. We're in the nice short right now. So let's see if we can get the legendary short into the legendary long, and Valhalla, here we come.
You gonna run it? You gonna keep running that, or what's your exit strategy?
Hey man, I'm holding it to 60K.
Let's go.
My stop loss is 83.5, so I'm pretty confident that we're not going to go back up there. So we'll see what happens. But before we go, I do want to mention that the Futurist Conference is coming up. So anybody that's in the Toronto area, the Futurist Conference is coming up in July 21st to 22nd. Me and J Chains will definitely both be there. So make sure you guys, if you're coming, come say hi. We'll take a nice selfie. We'll have a chit chat. Going to be doing a lot of content. So if anybody is going that wants to do some, interviews, chats, and whatever, like we're open to discuss and do whatever. I want to talk with builders and all that stuff like that. So, get your tickets because I believe Friday price tickets, the ticket prices are going up. So get on it. You can use either code MODERN to save, I believe it's 15%, or I believe you got a code as well. Use J-Chains or Modern and save some money on some tickets and show up. And they also have in November, if you're not in the Toronto area, but maybe you want to go see Florida, they're going to be in Florida as well for the conference. They had a stacked guest panel. They had an amazing guest panel last year. The Hard Rock Hotel is amazing. Great venue. So definitely check it out.
Cool spot. This year, speaking of panels, I will be emceeing the upstairs stage day one. And so that's usually when we get to do our panels, our W3BC media panel with all the homies. So day one in the morning, be prepared if you are there to see the homies doing our thing, because that's what we've done the last couple of years. We always get some time on stage. So let's do it. Yeah, I'm always down to speak. I love it. And, I especially when it comes to helping others level up in the space, yes. I'm all about it. Love it. All right, cool. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you being here. Smash the like button on your way out of here. Awesome. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week at 9 p.m. Peace.
Yeah. Another session in the books. Trade Daddies. Let's close it out right. Yeah. From the charts to the couch, we appreciate your time. Every view, every share, that support is a sign. Late night learners building wealth slow. Plant seeds today, watch the legacy grow. We don't flex hype, we invest in the grind. Teach discipline so you level your mind. If the game gave value and the message hit deep, run it back, tap like, let the algorithm speak.
Trade Daddies, yeah, we here every week, dropping gems, keeping structure unique. If you vibe with the movement, help it expand. Like, share, subscribe, build the brand. Trade Daddies, yeah, we teach no cap, real dads, real trades, real talk on the map.
Yeah. No promises quick, just knowledge and reps. Risk managed tight, calculated steps. From beginners to vets, everybody can learn. Market cycle spin, patience earns. So salute to the viewers, community strong. Independent thinkers, moving along. Hit subscribe if you rock with the show. Turn alerts on, don't miss the flow. Don't miss the flow.
Who keeps it real? Trade Daddies. Who builds the skill? Trade Daddies. Like it up, share it wide, share it wide. Subscribe and ride. Daddy time, knowledge climb. See you next week, same grind. Trade Daddies, after dark. Stay disciplined, play it smart. Trade Daddies.